Whispering statues. David had always been skeptical of ghost stories, but that changed the night he stayed at Blackwood Manor. The house was old, abandoned for decades, and now used for ghost tours. David, an amateur paranormal investigator, decided to spend the night alone in the Grand Hall, a room lined with marble statues. Each statue was unique, sculpted with hauntingly realistic expressions. Some covered their faces, some pointed, and others seemed to be watching. Ignoring his unease, David set up his camera and laid out his sleeping bag. As he drifted off, he heard it, a whisper. At first he thought it was the wind, but then he realized it was coming from behind him. Slowly he turned his head. The statues hadn't moved, but something was different. One statue, a woman with hollow eyes, had lowered her hands. David's breath hitched. He was sure she had been covering her face before. Shaking it off as his imagination, he lay back down. But the whispers grew louder. He turned again. Another statue had moved. This time, a man who had been pointing was now reaching toward him. David scrambled to his feet, heart hammering. His camera was still recording, its red light blinking in the darkness. He played back the footage. The statues were moving. Not all at once. Not when he was looking, but in small, impossible shifts. A trembling breath left his lips. He needed to leave. Now he turned toward the door, but the way was blocked. The statues had moved closer. David backed up, gripping his flashlight. He forced himself to blink, just once, and in that instant, cold hands clamped around his neck. The next morning when the tour guides arrived, David was gone. All that remained was his camera, and a new statue standing in the Grand Hall, a statue with David's face, and its hands raised in silent, eternal terror.